Little Master,
Yeah.
1986. So this is very much a Mr. Vampire begat, whole Hello Dracula begat. It's in that stage, right? Pretty early on.
Yeah, so someone saw the little montage in Mr. Vampire 2 where the kids take the vampire kid around the town in sunglasses and made a whole fucking film about it.
Yes. They thought there wasn't enough E.T. References in Mr. Vampire 2 and thought we really need to extend this out to the entire
What they said was, and you'll only get this if you watch every single thing that we ever do, because it's Taiwanese. He went, that bit in that film was bloody brilliant.
no one's gonna get that because that recording, right? Because we're recording this in May, right, for Halloween, and this is for the May edition of In Shore Scope, so no one's gonna bother.
Well, if they do,
by the time this comes
we should send them something. If somebody gets that joke, if you please, make a comment on this video.
If you understand what all that is about,
I will send you a glass of piping hot child urine of your very own,
and that green bedspread of yours. It can be yours.
It could be yours. Yes.
Yeah, but no one likes that bedspread anyway.
Well, we've already had middle class tough Darren's,
Yes.
How
that's what everyone says about Darren.
Oh, I'm not the person making passing comments about people's fucking.
He's such a middle class tough, that Darren, isn't he?
Fucking dare you call me middle class.
Anyhow. Well, you can keep your, interior decorating ideas to yourself, then, sir.
Put down that canap.
Exactly. Is that how it's said? Is it like it's not canapé?
No, it's canap.
Canap.
We're middle class tops, and we have to say it.
You would, of course, you would know.
Class.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it. I only know how to pronounce coal. And, and engines and things.
Yeah.
That's what I know. Engines.
But I can say Flaubert, that awesome right there, because I'm a middle class tough.
Oh, there we are.
Well, me and
Flaubert, yes.
Anyway, back to our middle class.
I feel like
hopping vampire film.
I feel like if you're a person who likes, drinking child urine, who likes 80s techno music, there
was no techno music in this film.
Probably this is the one that is entirely scored with chunks of the Escape from New York soundtrack.
Yeah, we call that techno music.
Well, it's early primitive, electronic.
Oh, it's an electronic. It's not like out of Detroit. Right. If you were a middle class tough, so you'd know this shit.
This is true. This is more evidence of my ignorance.
Yes.
But that's what happens when you grow up in a small fishing village in Taiwan, as I did.
Yeah, you end up thinking that the score to Escape from New York is techno, and you buy green bedspreads.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what happens in this then?
Yes.
Well,
I just fucking told everyone.
Yes, a little vampire excavated, and then some other kids make friends with him, make him wear shades and play hopscotch, and he uses telekinesis to chase at basketball, and then all the adults pick on him, so the kids dress up as vampires so he can get away, and it's very E.T. And yes, you do hear the Escape from New York theme quite a bit.
And the Terminator score even more, which you hear in almost all of these 6 films we're talking about.
There's 2 bits I liked in this though. So I particularly liked the last scene, because I thought that went there. I like that.
Yes, and anticipates Terminator 2 in a way, given the use of the score. So that ending is outrageous. I rewatched it just today just to remind myself how awesome that ending is.
And it's just one of those well, Taiwan, isn't it? But
yes,
one of those
children's
Taiwan
entertainment.
endings just ends, just finishes.
Yeah.
No messing about, just finishes. No freeze frame, nothing.
Nope.
Finish.
Other
And
than
I did actually. Sorry.
Other than that, though, it's pretty. Well, I'll tell you. So I saw this very, very recently, anyway, and I thought it was particularly poor. But then watching it this time in this batch, because we watched them in batches to do these recordings, the only thing was it was different from the other ones that we watched, so it was oddly refreshing.
Right.
But it's not good.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, if you've never seen a hopping vampire film with a child vampire, and you watch this one, it'll be a novelty. However, there are other films with child vampires in that are better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Although I did quite like, I got on board with the kind of mid to last section where there's a big chase where you've got the Taoist or whoever the hell it is, trying to get the kid, and then all the other kids dress up as little vampires. I got into that. I liked that. That was a little bit like, you know, a children's film foundation moment, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
I like the 80s-ness of the absent parents, the shitty like parents who are just, they're kind of rageaholic assholes, or like moms like, fuck off to your bedroom so I can play mahjong with the ladies.
Yeah.
Like
it was notable that all the parents were too busy to deal with the kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one other thing. No one.
And then it ends with them forcing that ending. The parents all standing around being like, your friend there needs to fuck off and die.
No one will have picked up on this at all. This is entirely by accident, something that happened to me. So I was watching this film at a certain point. I had to stop it to go and do something, and it was a freeze frame on my screen, and it was, you know, the kids spy on like the older brother character to make out with his quite cute girlfriend, actually, and it happened to freeze frame with her headphones on like that and her eyes closed, and he's going in for a kiss and a fondle, and it looked like a still from New Wave Hookers.
Oh.
So that was a pointless anecdote, but you know, not much to say about this film, really.
No. Funnily enough, you know, if you were going to transpose New Wave Hookers onto this or any other of the films we're doing tonight, Tracy Lords would probably have to fit into the child vampire category.
Yeah. In fact, she's quite old compared to the amount of much younger children we see nude in this set of films, to be honest.
Yes.
There's a part I quite like where the little girl, when they first come across when he invites his friends into the bedroom to show him, I've got a vampire in my closet that helps me put my clothes on. And then she's like, oh, it's another kind of ET, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, hello. But all that's in English, that last part.
Yeah.
Seemed very real to me as a person who spends quite a bit of time with, 6 and 7-year-old kids from Shanghai and Beijing. I was like, oh, yeah, this seems all of that. In fact, all the scenes of them in school and the kids are like making fun of like, oh, you're always farting because all you eat is potatoes at home, which I didn't realize that was maybe being Irish, maybe I'm nose blind to potato farts, but is that a thing?
I wouldn't necessarily take what's said in this film as gospel. I'm just saying. If Tracy Lords was in this film, we would have got to see Tracy Lords drink piss.
Yeah.
This is true. Yeah. Yes.
Which I don't think she did in any of the.
Pretty sure no.
Not that I would know, because I haven't seen every single one of them. No.
I haven't seen any of Tracy Lords' underage films at all.
Who is this Tracy Lords of which you?
I only saw I Love Tracy, which was done when she was 18. Of
course, that's the only one we've all seen.
Yeah, you can't get hold of the other ones.
Well, why would you want to, Darren? That would
I wouldn't want to.
I would never download them all from the internet. And anyway,
no,
he doesn't drink piss in any of them anyway.
No.
But it's funny. This for a moment that I thought, oh, is this the film? It's not the film where a dad makes his daughter put her hands in her boyfriend's piss. That's coming in a later film.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. This for me, anyways. I'm jumping way ahead. This is certainly the weakest of the ones we're watching or we're discussing in this little segment.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the. It's going to be the one of the least memorable when we get to the end of it.
Absolutely. Although the ending is really good and
the ending's top notch.
Shocking.
The ending's fine, but the thing is, it's not. Again, though, within the context of, being not afraid to go there in this, time and place, it's still not really an outlier, right?
It's no, absolutely. Well, it's not an outlier compared to the film it's ripping off anyway, which is Mr. Vampire 2, which has almost the same ending.
Yeah.
All right.
This one does have one of the assistants to the archaeologist dad is the one who gets bitten by a vampire and then is in prescribed drinking child piss for 49 days, 6 times a day.
You're obsessed with drinking child's piss.
Then, this set of film seems to be, and then we smash cut to him kneeling on the ground in front of a circle of children, holding a dish. It's like, holy shit, Yeah. Anyway,
welcome to Taiwan.
The Funny Vampire, aka New Mr. Vampire 2.
No shit, Sherlock.
Which confusingly is also Vampire versus Vampire, which we'll get to maybe next year, is also called New Mr. Vampire 2.
But this one is very clearly a sequel to the other. We've got the Chaos Taoist fucking guy is the same character, right?
I'm not sure if it is quite clearly a sequel.
And it's got the same.
Clearly, just another rip-off.
No.
They had to be, because both the vampire, like the Tommy Wiseau vampire, guy, and that crazy Taoist priest, they're the same characters as the previous film. It seems to me.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, that's what I. Wait,
definitely part 2.
Yeah, but the thing is as well in New Mr. Vampire. The vampire character, who's Huang Hua, that's him. Huang Hua gets blown up with a fucking cannon.
Yes.
Right? And in this film, they get all the fucking bits of it.
Yeah. Tony Hart shows up to put together Morph.
Yeah.
All the plasticine bits are put together and then bang.
Yeah. This is clearly Chin Yat-san's playing the same fucking character. And it's the same fucking. It's the same.
The only thing changed is that we don't have like our kind of our lead, Taoist. The guy who's our non-chaos Taoist is now doing more of a monobrow thing. It's not what's his face with the mustache.
No, but it is. Hang on, it is Jack Long, isn't it? Yes,
it's Jack Long.
Yes,
Jack Long.
Yes.
Jack Long is almost as good as Lam Ching-ying. In the context,
I'm still not entirely sure if this is actually a proper direct sequel. I think.
But no, I don't think it's.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's. I don't think it's authorized.
No, and I think it's just it happens to be there's enough elements in common. I'm not convinced.
They have to be the same characters, those two.
I don't think so.
Okay.
What are you talking about? Watch them back to back.
That person who, that's what I might do one day. And
you need to.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll meet you in the middle, Clive.
Okay.
Right, I'll meet you in the middle. It's the same vampire.
Is it the same vampire playing the same vampire?
Same actor.
It's the same actor.
Same long hair.
He's got the same haircut, and he's been blown to bits before the film starts.
And he's put back together at the beginning of the film.
Maybe I do have to watch them back to back. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll say it's a possibility.
Okay.
Yes. So anyway, Jack Long is the corpse wrangler with his 2 bickering assistants, Hai Bo and Wong Kon Hong, and they're doing their usual looking after a bunch of hopping vampires thing. And then Chen Yat-san is some sort of grave rubbing troublemaker, right? And he does put together Huang Ha's vampire from bits and pieces. And then there's a thing to do with Pauline Wong again, turns up as a sort of she's a female ghost, so it's a bit Jenny's ghost story
Yeah.
as well. And she takes a fancy to, is it Wong Kwan Hong's character, right? So they have to get.
She's a sentient like Glade plugin or like sachet of like something, right?
Yeah, so we get treated to a wedding ceremony with body popping.
Quite a bit of body popping in this and in a few of the others.
There is a surprising amount of body popping in hopping vampire films. We have discovered
body popping and child's piss drinking.
Yeah.
A good for all, I think.
Well, and in fact, Pauline Wong.
Yes, Pauline Wong's all over these things, isn't she?
Yeah. So this is might be a good time to talk about how much I'm enjoying Pauline Wong in all of these films. Not this one in particular, but my favorite one so far is coming up, where she's got a tail, which I quite like.
Yeah, there is a cute vampire kid in here as well, a little bit, just to tick that box, right?
One of the cutest of all the kids actually that does this in these films. He's the one who at the beginning of the film he's not hopping fast enough, so they put him on a little like palanquin thing, and then later on they give him like a bottle of, is it supposed to be blood? I don't know what the hell it was, but like fluid that's like on like a carrot stick kind of a thing that he hops after.
Also,
go on.
No, I was going to say there's a bit of unidentified female nudity in the form of a topless hopping vampire, but only after we get I think we'll all agree, an extremely erotic scene of boiled eggs being rubbed. So, like, I think we were all rock hard right at that point. Like nothing does it like some boiled egg rolling.
Just rolling it all over.
It's like 9.5 weeks and it's lemon slices.
But suddenly Tybo's boiled egg. Oh, he's dripping with sweat, isn't he? He's rubbing this boiled egg.
Yeah, but I mean Tybo, he looks like a wrong one anyway, doesn't he? I mean,
he does. Yeah.
He's it wouldn't surprise me if Tybo went on a register in the mid-80s and has remained there to this day.
Operation Boiled Egg.
Yes. So this is just a rehash, really, isn't it?
It is a rehash. It is a rehash. However, I would say I rather enjoyed this one because it is a rehash, and it's got the usual mix of stupid comedy, kinetic action, mild scary stuff, a lot of what the fuckness, inappropriateness, blah blah blah, all that. But it's coming at you so fast and furious. Something changes, but it's bum 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 bum. You have no time to think about it at all. There's some children's pee as well, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So it's just like by the time it's finished, I quite enjoy. I had a good time. Plus, as well, I think for me, this elevates the art of the stolen needle drop a little bit. Like this, you could listen to this in a club, like as a DJ set almost, right? Because it jumps from Once Upon a Time in the West, the Terminator, Herbie Hancock's Rocket, Gloria, the disco hit for Laura Branigan. And plus as well, they layer it as well. It's not just, sometimes they put like extra synth noises on top of things. And I was thinking, they've raised the theft game here a little bit. It's, it's not Paul's Boutique, but it's notable. So that mixture of just and me with a stupid grin in my face because I'm noticing needle drops, especially when Gloria and Herbie Hancock's Rocket again and again and again. That's some other thing I couldn't identify. I just had a good time. I just wished I'd have had some drinks or got stoned with it, because I think I would have had a really good time.
Yeah. Oh, the other reason that this is ripping off New Mr. Vampire is they use the same fucking gag, don't they? with the copying.
Yes.
That is, hang on, that is this one.
Or
Isn't
hang
it?
on.
Oh, fucking hell.
Oh,
This is
by
going to
Nossi.
happen a lot.
No, no, this is not it, is it? No, sorry, my apologies. Sorry, this is not, in fact, that film.
But this is my point, right? This is the thing.
Yeah.
It's difficult to tell if some, because across this batch, because we were saying, there were so many times where I was like, oh, hang on, that's must be from Close Encounter of the Vampire or New Mr. Vampire or New Mr. Vampire 2. And I realized, yeah, there's no, this is just a crazy.
Yeah, it's just a
tin
milieu,
of
isn't it?
spaghetti
Yeah.
of.
No,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
I don't think
yeah.
if it's as simple as drawing
No.
straight lines between
No,
things.
no. But I think there is definitely a straight line between this and New Mr. Vampire.
Yeah, that's a
But that's
project.
the last I'll say of it.
I'm going to
my notes make as much sense to the film. This just says Tommy Wiseau eats a bunch of garlic and grabs Pat Benatar's tits.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yes.
Were you
That
watching
happened.
the Tommy Wiseau Pat Benatar special when you should have been watching?
That might have been what I was doing.
So here's the thing then. This was the credit that surprised me more than anything else.
Yeah.
Action choreography.
Yeah.
Alan Lan, whoever that is, he's in the film as well, right?
Yeah.
But Chu Ko.
Yeah. Fucking Venoms.
Was one of the Venoms from, I think, from Sword Stained with Royal Blood.
Yeah, so 80s.
Through to the Weird
New
Man.
Venoms.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's on 5 Element Ninjas choreographing. But there's not enough action.
No, it's a weird, and we'll get to this later on when Lu Feng turns up in some places we don't expect him to. But yeah, what the fuck is Chu Ko doing working on the
again,
Vampire?
I think it's just what people did in Taiwan in the mid-80s. They're all kicking about and turning up everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean I think it's enjoyable enough.
I enjoyed it.
I think it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually enjoyed this more than New Mr. Vampire. We're going to make that comparison.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's the superior sequel?
Yes.
Yeah.
The rare superior sequel.
The sequel.
Yeah.
Well.
I think it is.
I feel confident, but
yeah, me and Nick are going to do this, and all of our tens of thousands of viewers are going to see this, and they're going to get in the comments about this as well, and they're going to decide it. Yeah, yeah. There's going to be 20,000 comments on this YouTube. But yeah, no, I think it's this is kind of it's not my favorite of any of the ones that we've seen. But I think this does certain things right, which is keep it to short vignettes, basically. So there's a little vignette here, about kid piss. There's a little vignette here with tits and a girl turning into a vampire. There's a little vignette about reanimating the blown up corpse of the vampire, and there's it's got a lovely pace to it.
And there's a nice choreographed dance routine at the wedding between a bunch of JYANGSHI and then a bunch of Cyndi Lauper looking girls in white dresses doing
Just imagine, lads, to have been down in Central in Hong Kong, 86. We'd have gone out for some drinks. We'd have caught those cool rickety wooden trams, went to the cinema, half in the bag, and we would have sat down and watched The Funny Vampire on opening night, sneaked a few cans in with us. We'd have had a riot, wouldn't we?
Oh yeah.
Well, we'd have had a laugh, yeah. But this is the question, right? This is the question. So, given, admittedly, it's not got as much kid vampire in it as and I'm down with that. But there's a little bit of kid vampire. But the film doesn't really seem aimed at adults either, right? It seems like it's trying to be some sort of all-encompassing blockbuster film, you know, like a holiday film, like a New Year's film or whatever. But it's got tits in.
Yeah, I think it's aimed at semi-retarded Celts on YouTube.
Could be.
We are the target demographic.
Audience. Yes, yeah. For what is really pure attention deficit filmmaking. If you don't like this, don't worry, because in 20 seconds, something else is going to be happening.
The producers, because they're from Taiwan, of course, they would have gone, right, I tell you who's going to watch this bloody film. A couple of Welsh guys and an Irish fella. You're going to love it.
Oh, God.
Also, is this one of the first ones where we have a talking Jiangshi as well? Because at one point, Tommy Wiseau gets farted directly in the face, and it's his only line of dialogue as he goes, "It stinks."
Yeah, and then he puts cotton wool up his nose.
Oh yes, he does. Yes.
That was a good fart gag, I have to say. That was
a good fart gag.
In, actually moved the story along.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, it's good. They're not often like threaded carefully into the narrative. So it's nice to see.
Chekhov's fart. Magic story, aka Corpse Master, aka Kung Fu Vampire Buster. I thought there was another film that was retitled Kung Fu Vampire Buster, but then I was looking about, but I couldn't find one. I sworn there was another Kung Fu Vampire Buster. But anyway, we're still in '86. It's amazing, really, that they were just churning them out like straight away, right? Like, So this is my take on this. Is it begins with an animated sequence of some vampire bats escaping from a castle, and I thought, oh, this is going to be something a bit different. This is going to be good. And it's not. That is by far the best bit of the film, except Darren's going to die on this hill, apparently. I believe Darren thinks this film is superior to Citizen Kane or something you were saying earlier.
Well, are there any cartoon vampire bats in Citizen Kane?
In the director's cut, yes.
Nick, we're doing this a bit backwards, but Nick, what were your thoughts on Magic Story?
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess, but I didn't mind it. There's a few things that were at the beginning. I thought so. There's like our main two characters appear to be this kind of guy who I assumed was a Van Helsing type, because we see his assistant bare chested in this weird like pergola looking thing. I don't know what that was about. But then, as it turns out, I had the wrong Peter Cushing. Because he's actually Dr. Frankenstein, right? Because it turns out
he's both through this, and that's fucking Bill Tongue, right?
Yeah.
So that's Bill Tongue from the Jackie Chan from like Police Story and all these other things.
I recognize him.
Who's like the police chief who Jackie Chan's ass is going to go in a sling over. That's it.
You know what he's most famous for? That's the weird thing. Most people nowadays, we know him from Jackie Chan films. He's a former jockey, and then later became like a really famous like horse racing commentator and expert and stuff. So apparently, Bill Tongue is known as horsey boy.
Who's that bloke on Channel 4 who used to wear the fucking deer stalker?
He went on Big Brother, didn't he? Celebrity.
That's him.
Something McCurrick. John McCurrick, was that his name?
John McCurrick, that's him.
I don't think he was a jockey though. He's a bit big, isn't he?
Yeah, he was just a wanker, I think. Anyway, but so okay. So so I'm the only one that loved this then, right?
I liked it, but I don't.
What's wrong with you, Darren?
It wasn't my favorite at all. But please elucidate.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
What drugs had you taken?
No. So it's got you've got the vampire bat entrance. I will criticize it in that there are kind of sort of antagonists in the form of hang on, I'm just checking I got the right film. Yeah. So they're sort of antagonists in that there are 4 vampires in this. There's a mummy vampire, a daddy vampire, a granny vampire.
Is that a granny? I thought it was some sort of like David Bowie-esque, like glam rocker. Because it's not. Is that not a man? But it was very.
It is a man.
That's definitely a man. Yeah.
But apparently, in Hong Kong, to be a granny, you have to dress. You have to dress like a mesmerist from the 30s. That means granny.
Granny.
Yeah. And that's Benny Lycan Kwan, who's one of the choreographers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and that is the most unconvincing drag in any Hong Kong film ever made. But anyway, yeah, and actually, I surprised myself here because Lo Wei is the producer of this film.
Yeah.
And I really like it. So anyway, so yeah, so they all get woken up. The little vampire wanders off, and then we get the usual little vampire shit. Except the little vampire ends up with Bill Tung and Ralph Chan, right? Who are like Van Helsing and assistant.
Ralph Chan, worth mentioning, like probably no one knows who Ralph Chan is, not really in much at all. But he must have been something about him because he's also one of the leads in Angel 3.
Yeah. I actually really like it. I think he's really good.
He's fine, but it's just he's a bit of a forgotten quantity.
Yeah, sure, yeah. No, but I think he had potential anyway. So yeah, anyway, so the little vampire ends up, except they're kind of mad scientists, but also vampire hunters, but not like Taoist vampire hunters. They have steaks and garlic and shit.
Sorry to interrupt that. Quick thought, actually, because it only just occurred to me because of his look a little bit. Do you think they called him Ralph Chan because he does look a bit Ralph Macchio like?
Oh, actually, he does. Yeah. I think that could be a thing. Yeah. Yeah. He's nowhere near as annoying as Ralph Macchio.
No.
Is Ralph Macchio annoying?
Yes.
Okay.
Unequivocally, Ralph Macchio is annoying.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I don't remember. Nick, you're on board with this, Ralph.
Yeah. Particularly, like, I mean, the original Karate Kid's all right, but that's about it. That's where his charm ends. He's in like high-waisted mom jeans in the second film that are
Although, what's the the Devil at the Crossroads blues?
Oh, Crossroads.
Crossroads.
Yes. Yeah.
I remember that being okay, but I haven't seen it since I was 15. Yeah. But,
I also haven't seen it since I was.
Yeah.
No one's seen it since they were 15.
What I discovered was garlic, right? Garlic is not particularly necessarily useful to ward off vampires, but what you need this for is to rub it on your knob in case you need to pee and can't pee.
That's right.
Piece of information I took away from this film.
The next question is, Nick, how did that experiment go?
Well, my dick stinks. But that's neither here nor there. That's usually the case.
It's now just a nice mixture of garlic and head cheese.
Right.
Your dick's doing some nice hot burps at the moment, isn't it?
You could just rub some spaghetti across the end and it'll have a nice garlic fettuccine.
That's it. So yeah, anyway, so this all kind of revolves around kind of a naughty vampire, like we've seen in, say, Hello, Dracula. Naughty little vampire who's got a little pocket watch with that plays a musical tune, which is kind of the MacGuffin that kind of makes all the adult vampires chase everyone around.
Right.
So various little sketches, vignettes, etc. And then right in the middle, you get this fucking music video.
Yes, right? With Child's Choir, which is one of the things I'm very susceptible to for some reason. And whether it's Italian Child's Choir, whether it's, Japanese Child's Choir, I'm always happy.
As soon as you hear a Child's Choir, you're like, I must collect their piss for my collection.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there's this scene where where Ralph is chasing the kid vampire through the graveyard, and I think like the mother's trying to kill Ralph Chan, but he, does the usual sort of, oh, look at this interesting stone on the ground, and then whoop, he avoids the mother, and then the kid transports Ralph Chan into like the underworld.
Yeah, it's like a black space, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's like this kid called Tinkerbell.
Yep. With the red ball.
Yeah, with the red ball that's also like the moon or something. And you get this whole kind of music video on an invisible seesaw and an invisible swing, and I enjoyed that. I really liked that.
Me too.
I had a lot of fun with that, and I got into that. And then a few more shenanigans ensue. Like the little kid vamp accidentally looks at the sun, and then has to be.
That was mostly the stupid girlfriend's fault.
Yeah,
I did also like that the little vamp brings a cup of tea, because you think about that, like that is hard for a poppy vampire to effectively bring you a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Well, also there's a whole bunch of different references to Draimon, which I didn't understand.
Yes, that was also weird.
I didn't know what all that was about.
No.
Mentioned as well that the bad female vampire is played by Lam Sao Kwan, who was kind of a bit of a starlet at Shaw Brothers for a little while.
Yeah.
She was in a few films.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot to mention, and then I'll be quiet, because there was actually 2 bits I liked in this film. Just 2. There's, because I didn't like that music video bit, to be honest with you. Animated vampires at the beginning. Good.
Yeah.
Nothing else much. And then you get to hear a little bit of the zombie flesh eaters theme at the end.
That was a surprise.
Yeah, that was good.
And that's it.
Come on. Bill Tung dressing up as a vampire, pretending to be a vampire, scaring off all the policemen. Did you not get a kick out of? No?
I like the bit where the kid was really
grumpy when I watched this one or something.
Yeah,
I like the bit where when the kid was really sick, and then in order to save him, they wire up the other fella to him and just like run electricity through him for some reason, and he's got like a brick or like a wood between his teeth, and then they cut away for like what feels like 10 minutes to other action, and then they cut back and it's still going on. Holy shit!
Yeah,
I was kind of surprised that they basically electrocuted a little child. That was kind of surprising.
Yeah.
But is this where the whole Robo Vampire thing comes from? Is this film, because like there seems to be a kind of an element of turning them into like automatons.
When's Robo Vampire? 87, 88?
We'll be getting to Robo Vampire in next years. Well, not only Robo Vampire, we'll be doing all.
There's a few of them.
Robo Vampire films.
Of course.
And that'll be something. Then you'll forget about this magic story bollocks, because that's a real filmmaking right there.
Yeah. But anyway, long story short, there's a big sort of finale where making sure that I have got the
right.
Because the one person we haven't mentioned in this yet is Mars, because Mars is in this as a Taoist with a big red nose.
Oh Jesus, yes.
Yeah.
Who looks like an actual like manga like caricature. From like a 60s comic book or whatever with the like.
Yeah, and he's after the vampire. He's like in collusion with the local police force.
Well,
yes.
Is he kind of just making fake hopping vampires up so he can sell more talismans to the scared?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But he can actually cut the mustard, because at the end of the film, there's this massive kind of set piece where the kid vampire gets caught and gets stuck in a cage, and then Bill Tung and Ralph have to rescue him, and then the adult vampires come in and help rescue them, and then Bill Tung ends up in the cage, and then they melt the vampires. Mars like melts the vampires with flaming ropes, and then there's some really good fucking stunts in it. Like people.
Well, Mars and Benny Lai, both members of Jackie Chan's stunt team, right?
Yeah, so so what I'm saying is that this got choreographed like on Jackie Chan's stunt films off days, right? So on their days off, they went and did this.
As to say,
not
the
really,
Benny live vampire as well is very probably the most physically aggressive. Like he knocks down that shack, right? Just by I thought that was that was quite interesting. He's one of the like more not scary, but he's like the one that seems like hopping vampires in general seem like they kind of could be relatively easy to escape from if you had half a brain. But this one was like
he was fucking everywhere, wasn't he? Yeah. And the parents get killed, and then the little vampire takes revenge and starts getting all fucking like has like lightning bolts all around him, and then just kills all the fucking soldiers, and then that's it.
And then turns into a very, very shitty rubber bat that flaps up into the sky and turns back into the kid, and then flies back to the camera and freeze frame.
That's it.
Yes. I did like quite near the end. It's the only movie I've ever seen where actually, like in the final kind of intense, like is he going to be able to save them in time? It's all based on whether that guy can take a piss. And so there's a lot of the father-in-law giving him advice about how you need to force it out, and then he's like, well, then coax it out, and then we get the whole rub garlic on your knob. I've never seen a film where I was like, is this guy can't take a piss? They're not going to make it, man. And then you also have the girl's dad shouting at her like, "Put your hands in your boyfriend's piss." She was like, "Who writes this?" She has to put her hands in.
It's ancient vampire law,
right?
Yeah. Also, there was one good gag in here that I really enjoyed. Was in a lot of these films, it's all about the breath, isn't it?
Right.
And you like redirect your breath. So like if you're indoors and there's like a hole in the shack you're in,
right,
you blow out of the hole in the shack so that you're not detected. Well, there's a bit of that in there, except he's breathing in the air from outside, and one of the soldiers accidentally breathes in a rat.
Yes.
Oh, that was quite good.
That was an Ozzy Osbourne moment. Yes,
that was a good joke.
Yeah. So I'm 100% behind this film. I think I thoroughly recommend this film. I think this film's a good time. It's got good action. It's got weirdness. Bill Tongue dresses up as a vampire, and it's got a really cute music video in it.
I thoroughly recommend not listening to anything Darren says. Giving this film a wide berth. How about you, Nick?
I'll come somewhere in the middle. I got on fine with it, but it wouldn't be my top 5 hopping vampire films. But it was a pleasant time waster for sure.
Hello, Dracula.
Hello, Dracula.
Oh, yep. And I can only assume, since this film shares virtually the entire cast with the original Hello, Dracula, and also appears to begin almost moments after the last film ended, that Clive will claim that it's not, in fact, a sequel to Dracula at all.
It's actually a sequel to Revenge of the Nerds 4, Nerds in Paradise.
I see.
Yes.
No. In this case, you are both correct.
Okay, good.
The clue is in the title, Hello, Dracula 2.
Yes.
So more of the same kind of shenanigans from. So this opens. I was thinking, what's quite good about this one is it has quite a nice opening primer about the corpse herder, doesn't it? Just in case you didn't know anything about it. It explains what it is, and plus some new little additions that we haven't really had up to now. So that, for instance, the oil lamp, if that goes out, that's when the corpse turns into a vampire.
Yeah, new vampire law.
Yeah, and definitely made up for is the one about, if there's a little vampire, then all adult male vampires will want to follow it as its father. And,
yes.
I know we've gone back and forth.
No, that is the same as the first film.
Yeah. No, but that's as old as it is, right? What I mean is we've gone back and forth before how much of this is actual ancient. Yeah, this isn't at all. No. what's the term they use nowadays? Retcon, is it?
Retconning, yes.
Retcon, yes.
See, I keep up to date with the kids.
Yeah.
I can dance to their jive music.
You can.
But it's funny, more than any of these really feel like sequels that have like an understanding of continuity. Like most of the sequels we've seen, like for example, the 3 Mr. Vampire films, right? Like other than sharing the same actor, I don't know that they're not. It's like Blackadder, where it's a different incarnation each time of his
No, you're right. Yeah.
Whereas this is like, no, we literally are just taking up from right where the last film ended, and all the events of that film play into this film.
Yeah. Yeah, including the incredibly traumatic disintegration of their father.
Yes.
Yeah.
Their dad gets more and more fucking terrifying with each encounter.
Yes.
So Chin-2 returns as this little acting troupe, right, including Shadow Liu, who I guess became the face of the series, right? She was the popular face of the series. And I think maybe the one who plays the little fat kid, Liu Chi-han, I think he might be the other one who might have kind of spun a bit of a career out of being in the Hello Dracula series.
Well, he's in a load of other films as well as an adult.
Okay. Yeah, he's in a few things later on TV things.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because in this film just to jump straight to the end.
Why not?
Fair play. Fair play.
Spoiler alert. He becomes a vampire and saves the day as a suicide bomber.
Yep. He literally put the vest of
suicide vest.
Runs full tilt at fake Beardy.
And he says death to the infidel. And he blows up the Twin Towers.
And so the final image of the film is Shadow, tear-streaked face, like freeze frame as she screams his name. Credits roll. It's a great ending.
So I'm actually really looking forward to get to Hello Dracula 3 now, just to see if they run with it.
Yeah. So in conclusion, the Hello Dracula films are not fucking about.
No.
They're fucking stakes in these films, right? And thankfully, they've moved past showing you all the little children penises, and have actually started to do some non-pedo plot points. And I'm fucking into this. I'm this just to win. I'm into Hello Dracula now.
Yeah, there was a moment where they suit up again, when they put on the kind of the paper clothes and the mask, and then we get a slightly more. It's not the same piece of music. It's not from Oxygen or whatever. But it's more of almost like the action movie version of that, as they do this thing in slow mo. And I was like,
I tell you what that sound.
I was like, oh yeah, fuck.
I tell you what that sound. It's like the pan drums thing, right? I tell you what it sounds like, and I don't know if it is what it is, but it sounds like the soundtrack from Commando.
Oh, it could be.
Probably why I was getting amped up. Yeah.
It's something like that, isn't it?
Because because that scene you're talking about, it's like a superhero suit up montage, isn't it?
Yes.
It's like strapping the guns to you,
And we've seen it. We know that from the previous film that things get crazy when they go into that place, and they do it again. They get pretty wild near the end.
And they get on fucking unicycles and scooters and kick vampire ass.
And New Mr. Vampire must have been enough of a hit somewhere at a certain point, because I think there's quite a bit of New Mr. Vampire in this as well. There's a few things that seem specifically from New Mr. Vampire. It's a bit difficult to tell at a certain point, but there's a few. There's like, that seems like it's from there.
Yeah, this is where the copying. This is the one I mistook for. This is the copying business one, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah. Yes, which is a reprise of the first Hello Dracula.
Someone throws a cat across a room at some point. There's the cat.
There's also the duck dance. There's like a lengthy choreographed, ridiculous scene where Shadow comes out and does this whole little quack quack
duck
thing.
dance.
All
Yeah.
the Jiangshi
Duck
all around
dance.
it. And then the airplane thing.
Yeah.
Body popping. No
that-
shortage of body popping in this one either.
Yeah, yeah. Some interesting credits. So we got Chen Chung-lang and Ulysses Au are both interesting kind of directors of various things as planning, whatever that means. It could be
Yeah.
a producer. But choreography by none other than Lu Feng, who will pop up again soon in an even more kind of surprising, but Lu Feng and Ricky Chen from Nick's favorite, The Weird Man. I remember Nick particularly he couldn't get enough of Ricky Chen on a trampoline flying across the screen. So.
3-step in an appy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Nick's jam.
That's my
I very much didn't expect Lu Feng and Ricky Chen to be the choreographers of not Hello Dracula, Hello Dracula 2.
I know, yeah. But that's the thing we were saying earlier on. I think this is just the milieu of
what was that word?
The milieu.
Yeah.
The milieu.
Certainly somebody middle class would be dropping French.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a very middle class tough word.
I would think
No, you see, there's a difference between middle class and educated.
Oh, that fair enough.
But I think this is the thing in mid-80s Taiwan. It's like it seems like it's just either there wasn't any work or there was loads of work and people were just fucking popping in and out of all these films, just doing shit, doing little stuff. Because like when we interviewed, when we were talking to Toby about, I think it was Ninja Final Duel, he was saying, wasn't he, that Lu Feng was kicking around the set and is in Ninja Final Duel, except you can't see him because he's behind a mask.
When do we say Toby, we mean Toby Russell, by the way. Just drop in the
Yes.
first name is a very middle class tough thing to do. It's Toby Russell.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. No, but I think that's the thing. I genuinely think that's the thing.
Well, the thing as well, though, so we're going to get further confused, I think, when we're going to another batch. I don't know if it's this time or next year. So, the director Wang Chi-cheng also made something called Vampire Kid 2, which probably isn't really a sequel, but might be, aka Five Venoms versus Wu-Tang, also choreographed by Lu Feng and Ricky Chen. And then he made another one, which is known as Chess Boxing Matrix.
Yes, I caught that. Yeah.
Or Chivalric Tornado, I believe it's also known as, which is a good title.
That is a good title, yeah.
But that one wasn't choreographed by Lu Feng and Ricky Chen.
No.
This film has 3 Occidental actors in it too, which is always.
Oh yes, of course. How could we forget? This. Yeah, we buried the lead, right? Sorry. Yes, we've got some sort
Catholics versus vampires.
Some sort of fucking, I don't know, a mixture of a gangster from Chicago and like Pete
Barnum and Bailey or
something. Yeah. And a minister. And I guess what's supposed to be a sexy nun, because that was the thing that connected it to New Mr. Vampire, was the mirroring thing. For no reason as I could tell. The fat. So here's the other thing as well. The fat police chief, the guy who's the fat vampire, turns out to be his brother, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Both played by Pang San. Are they the same guy? They
are.
Yeah. But he was also in the previous film playing. So like as I said, the continuity is quite surprisingly like good, because he played the police captain in the first film who turns into a vampire and is back again.
But the mirroring thing.
But yes, you're right.
They never explain.
Yeah, the copying.
Yes.
And this one, they do the fat vampire and then the nun taking a bath. And then later on as well, there's a real non sequitur moment where the nun has to pee.
Yes.
And they ogle at her, like crouching.
Yeah.
So again, that's a very weird thing to have in what is ostensibly a kids' film.
Kids' film.
Yeah.
Or at least if you're not Taiwanese.
Yeah. But
You
yeah,
bloody
but
mean what you're saying about us Taiwanese?
But yeah, I mean this whole like priest thing, because they want to take.
Oh, I love it. When he shows up first, he's asking people, and they're immediately like, "Get the fuck out of here with your nonsense." In fact, he says like, "You're a crazy person." He's like, "I'm not crazy. I've been sent here by God."
Yeah.
And then,
and let's not forget, they stick the little kid vampire through the heart.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then when he shows up to Grandpa Gold's place, Grandpa Gold's also like, and he says, "Oh, you're also a manager of the dead." What, he has some term that he goes, and he goes, "Yes," and he says, "Well, get out of here. You'll ruin our traditions," which I quite like. We're not having any truck with you and your God bothering.
Yeah, but also somehow these Catholic priests have learned really good fucking kung fu.
Yeah, the Chinese is not bad either.
And yeah, I think it takes long. Well, I don't know actually. Yeah, maybe
which
Chinese. Yeah.
Well, what's interesting though is that all three, we don't know who they are. There's no credits for the actors.
No.
If you're in Dracula 2,
yeah,
please let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Did you play the gangster stroke P.T. Barnum? Were you the minister or were you the sexy nun? What did you think about your pissing scene? Let us know. How about being in Taiwan? Does everyone sound like Jasper Carrot, or did I just
So, I mean, I also noticed, because this is a Japanese version we're watching, right?
Yes, with subs or something.
Yeah, but it's interesting because like when they speak in English. So I'm assuming that they're like when they speak to each other, when they're not talking to the Taiwanese character, right? So I assume that would have been subtitled then in their dialogue, right? In Taiwanese.
Yeah, but that's the interesting thing, because it didn't have the Japanese subtitles on the print, did it?
No.
So I think the Japanese subtitles were programmable. So yeah, it must have just had Japanese subtitles across the whole thing, right? But it had been moved, and then someone had put English fan subs on there, and then obviously they didn't put it for the bits when they speak English.
Right.
Yeah. Because once again, just to reiterate, these things were fucking probably bigger in Japan than anywhere else, right? Especially when it got to little kids, when little kid vampires, Shadow Liu, and Nick was saying off air he wouldn't be surprised if you went to Jimbocho or Akihabara or something, you might be able to find a very expensive, now out of print. There might be some kind of photogravure bikini magazine that Shadow Liu did only for the Japanese market. That wouldn't be that surprising if
I think there's probably a worrying chance that that's the case. And honestly, like in the latter part of this film, when so much of the film's kind of energy comes from terrorizing her, right? Feel a little bit sketchy again.
But there's a bit as well, isn't there, where she gets like the bottom of her dress ripped, something, and she looks like
yeah.
But it's not as creepy as the first one.
No, it's styled the Gary glitter down a little bit on this one. But actually, with that bit in the cave, so at the end of the film, Shadow gets trapped in the cave with the dad vampire, the master vampire, who has become like exponentially more fucking scary since the last one.
Yeah, he can burn. He could just use with his mind power, like burn off his like yellow. It's got started. You've never seen that before.
There's some cool vampire stuff in this.
I feel like him and the guy from the new Mr. Vampire films. They're the two scariest. Like the Tommy Wiseau guy, just like absolute rage monsters.
I disagree with you on Tommy Wiseau.
Okay,
right? Because he was in films in like the early 70s, and he was actually a fucking badass.
Okay.
In like some Shaw Brothers films and some other period Hong Kong films in the early 70s, and he was a badass, and he'd usually carry around a big fucking sword and a big axe, and he'd be like a big fucking henchman or something. But I never found him scary. I always thought he was miscast in these films because he just looks like a bit of an old man.
Right.
Personally, that's my personal view. But you know, anyway. But yeah, so yeah, but I found the bit in the cave with Shadow, you know, pedo vibes aside.
Yeah.
Always
good to leave those aside, really.
Well, yeah, we always leave them to the side. You know, we are the podcast that puts pedo and baby in the corner.
Right.
See what I did there? And then walk away and not do anything to the baby in the corner and just walk away and make sure his mum knows where he is.
Exactly.
You put the pedo vibes to the side, so you got room for more.
Yeah. But yeah, I genuinely thought that bit in the cave was quite scary.
Yeah.
Actually, that was quite a good exercise in terror in terms of cinema. And then yeah, you've got the kind of, you know, the suit up montage where, you know, the kids on scooters do stuff, and then
when they get into urns, there's a great scene where they all get into these like black urns, and then there's a kind of like almost Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kind of scene of them like jumping over each other, wearing these things and rolling around and
They look
fighting.
like something out of an old Charles Fleischer cartoon, don't they?
Well,
look.
Yeah, but also Miracle Fighters, right? So Miracle Fighters is in the mix in this as well, I think. And yeah, and then the kids just rip their dad limb from limb
again, because they to do that when they're in this state.
And then
he immediately is put back together again.
Yeah, and then Suicide Vest.
Smash end.
Yeah, I thought it was fucking great.
To get to Ninja the Violent Sorcerer, because that is how it's spelt. It's like that. I don't know if you ever saw that film, Defendor. Did you ever see that?
Oh yeah.
Very much. Yeah. Says Ninja the Violent Sorcerer, but to get there, we have to first talk about the stunning gambling.
Yes.
Which actually, so I'll warn you, fellows, this is actually going to lead to some other interesting shows we're going to do.
Is it really?
Yes.
I haven't clocked that. I haven't seen any links here yet.
So, well, let's just talk about what stunning gambling itself is first. So, stunning gambling. So we got. Let's see if I got this right now. So, Tsung Hua, right? Who was at Shaw. There's quite a lot of Shaw people in this, actually. Well, I think he's the main bad guy who runs the casino, right?
Yeah.
Simon Barker, who, interesting enough, SB are his initials. So was this a mean-spirited jab at Shaw Brothers, perhaps? Probably not, because I'm thinking about the English. Go on. Yes. What the hell's his Chinese name? Do we know?
But it was a particularly lame point to have raised. Well done. So Kung Fei turns up, and he's like some huge guy, Hong Kong. I don't know, because this is Taiwanese film. I'm not sure if it's set in Taiwan, but Kung Fei's a guy from Hong Kong, right? He's a legendary gambler, and he takes on Tsung Hua, and basically
Can you just pause for a second? So is gambling the same as close-up magic? Are these things interchangeable? Because my understanding from watching this film is that they are the same thing.
I will get there. Well, we'll get there.
It's close-up magic with kung fu.
Yes, and this
will just throw dice into walls.
This will lead to where this is heading eventually. So, yes, and he loses. So as a forfeit, he has to actually shoot himself in the head. Right. So then it's his
son. His nephew. Is it nephew or son?
His son, I think.
Son. Yeah, son. Yeah.
Qin Xie, who was in those Jin Pei 1 to 5 films we watched as well.
Yeah.
He's in that series. So basically, he wants revenge, so he has to put together like a squad of people.
Yes,
which
it
includes
goes Ocean's 11 suddenly.
kind of, yeah. We should also mention the other awesome villain, the villainess in this is Elsa Young, who I enjoy more and more and more the more I see of her. Huge star of this era. Yeah, she has this cigarette holder blow dart thing, which is cool. But yeah, so he puts together this squad, which includes Angela Mao, which is always lovely shortcut she's got here. Angela Mao.
There she is. There, look, see.
Yeah. You got Danny Lee.
Yeah.
A few other interesting people. There's Lung Fei is in there.
Yeah.
Lots of interesting people. Like I said, a lot of Shaw people.
Turns out Lung Fei is actually Jesus in this film.
Yes. And and the other thing I learnt as well was that there's a diamond made by the famous Swiss artisan Clint Eastwood.
Yes.
That was a subtitle that jumped out. And now, I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure how the plot. I don't quite know all the planning there's something to do with swindling people, believing that these diamonds are real, and then there's also like some blood drinking.
And you've got one of them wears a mask and pretends to be someone else.
Yes, like a real Mission Impossible style.
Yes,
and
then of course it all culminates at like you said, the
rematch.
These kind of card games that involve there's a cool Chan Hung Lie. He's cool. He plays he does some kind of telekinesis or something, doesn't he? Like just before picking up the cards, he's like, or some Tai Chi or something. And that it's kind of. I mean, we watched a really shit print as well. Unfortunately, you can't see it properly as well. Seems to have led into a sequel called The King of Gambler.
Okay.
But what's interesting as well is, so it comes out in 81, and the year before there was another film called Giant of Casino, which I remember being less. I don't know what you think about this film, but I quite enjoyed Stunning Gambling. Giant of Casino is less enjoyable. What's interesting is they both got turned into film. So this we'll talk about got turned into Ninja the Violent Sorcerer. Giant of Casino got turned into Devil Dynamite, which is the second or third Robo Vampire film.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that next year.
All right.
But what fascinates me about, how did you get on with, let's talk about that. What did you think of the Stunning Gambling did you enjoy it? Because I quite enjoyed it. It's not great, but it's kind of interesting. I'll talk about why I find it interesting, because I think there's a context in which it's interesting. In and of itself, it's all right. But what did you make of it, lads?
Darren, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, it was fun. I like seeing Lung Fei in not a heroic role, but he's like the Alfred the Butler from Batman, isn't he? In this film, he's like he's kind of like the the wise retainer.
He'd be a good Alfred, actually.
I would, yeah. And Ku Feng is fucking Ku Feng, right? And Ku Feng's fucking amazing. I wish he was in it more, but you get to see Ku Feng lose the cards and blow his brains out. And, I like the whole heist business, and I particularly liked the card game business with the dice throw in. Because it becomes less about actually gambling and more about gambling foo, isn't it?
Did you actually understand it? I didn't quite understand exactly. I mean, I got the gist.
I think I understood enough. To know that they have to do a heist. I didn't quite understand what the heist was about, but I didn't think that was important because they had to do a heist to get to where they got, it was a MacGuffin. They had to do a heist to get the MacGuffin that didn't matter so that they could get to the rematch. What is interesting about this, is you should not, absolutely under no circumstances should you watch this film if you're a recovering alcoholic.
Right.
Because it just it's
an interesting message.
It's not going to be good for you. It's not. Yeah, but yeah, I kind of enjoyed it. I think it's weird because a lot. What I find with films from Taiwan in particular, this is Taiwan as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or is it Hong Kong?
No, it's
It
Taiwan.
is Taiwan.
It is Taiwan.
It is Taiwan, yeah. What I find strange about films from this era in Taiwan is if you told me it was made 10 years previous to what it was made, I would have believed you.
Yeah, the
It's kind of
print doesn't help.
no, I know, but there's something about the fashions, there's something about the
Waka Waka guitar. I mean, like it's very funk. So yeah, you could easily see it as being a 1973.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, in general, I enjoyed it. I don't think I ever need to see it again, especially after I've seen most of it again in Ninja Violent Sorcerer.
Was that Ninja the Violent
Sorcerer?
Sorceror.
Sorry, Sorcerer. But yeah, I mean, I had fun with it. It was okay. You know, as I say, I'm not going to rush out to see it, but it whiled away, you know, around 20 minutes or whatever it was. And, you know, it was cool seeing Lu Feng get, sorry, not Lu Feng, Lung Fei get crucified.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a strange moment in the film.
That really, was weird.
Why? You know, like
there was no reason for him to be crucified on a beach.
Did he die for their sins? Like, was, you know,
well,
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of worth noting at this point that the screenwriter Wei Shin is the fucking maniac who wrote Fantasy Mission Force. So
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I do want to do a Chu Yan Ping double at some point. So let's just keep that in the back of our minds.
How did you get on with Stunning Gambling, Nick?
I liked it quite a bit, actually. It had a really pleasant vibe. It was a nice movie to hang out in.
Right.
If that makes sense, you know. And I thought the score was actually much better than Sorcerer, like because it had it was very much funky. It kind of had that a little bit of a Yakuza kind of a vibe to me, like some of the stuff that I like about those kind of Bunta films.
This is what kind of interests me about this. So this is just something that Chung Chi-woon, the director, also made another film starring Ling Yun the same year called The Great Cheat. So there's The Great Cheat, there's a sequel, The King of Gambler, and there's Giant of Casino, and they all come around this time, right? And I don't know about you, but watching these films, I can't help think that these are basically the films that later morphed into God of Gamblers.
Oh, absolutely.
And the God of Gamblers series, right? But
easily,
Then you've got, in the 70s, there's a trilogy of Shaw Brothers films, The Casino, Queen Hustler, and Gambling Syndicate, which is, I think, maybe where these things started. But like Nick said, over in Japan as well, they're doing all these gambler and lady gambler films. And I haven't got into them that much. I don't know how far they go into, how much in terms of like martial arts or kind of fantasy elements that they have. And then prior to these, around about the same time, Shaw make another few, right? The Challenge of the Gamesters, Winner Takes All, and Mahjong Heroes.
Yeah.
Wong Jing made at least one of those. And then I'm thinking also we're missing something in terms of comics, manga, and manhwa as well. Right. So my thing I wanted to mention to you lads was, so this show drops Halloween, right? And we do our monthly in Shaw Scope thing, which we normally do chronologically. But because I would like to go out of chronology for our November in Shaw Scope to do the Casino, Queen Hustler, and Gambling Syndicate, because I want to kind of get to the bottom of what the trajectory is of how do we get from the Casino to God of Gamblers.
I'm very interested in that, right? However, I would point out, and I'm not saying no, I'm not saying this is a reason to not do it, but I would point out that this is the very separate Hopping Vampire show.
Yes.
That we've got that's completely separate to inshore scope, not inshore scope, and Achafuz.
Yes.
That you want to spin off of.
Well, no, just while we're talking about it, kind of thing. Because no one watches us anyway, so it's just get it straight in our own heads.
No, but I'm okay with it. I'm not saying no. I'm not, you know.
We'll do that then.
I just also want to acknowledge the ridiculousness.
You don't have to remind me.
Convolution.
I know that. I know there's something wrong with me. It's fine. I'm resigned to it.
There's something wrong with all of us.
Yeah, well,
doing this.
Yeah.
So yeah, carry on.
Anything more to say about Stunning Gambling before we get into the Ninja the Violent Sorcerer remix version?
I mean, this connects the two of them, but like, what's the running time on these two films? Because it feels like it's pretty similar, and yet when you watch Ninja, I kept thinking to myself, like, that's why I had to go back and watch Ninja Violent Sorcerer again, because after I watched Stunning Gambling, I was like, how did they replace so much of the footage and still more or less?
Yeah,
I got the gist.
I watched them back to back, but I couldn't figure it out. You need to watch them side by side to figure it out.
There must be a lot missing, right? But I couldn't necessarily tell what it was.
No, well, I think a lot of it is probably planning conversations.
Right, some of the heist stuff, you're right, might have been.
But also I think some of the heist stuff. So I think the mask stuff wasn't in.
Right.
So none of the mask stuff, the diamond stuff, I don't think that was in there.
Okay.
And they probably just cut scenes in half. So where you've got someone fucking about with phone lines for some reason, they just probably turned 2 minutes into 1 minute, and then did exactly the same with any other.
In my experience watching IFD and Film Mac stuff, which to my great shame is probably more than I should have done in my lifetime. That is usually the case. It's usually here, trims there.
Yeah.
And then, jump forward 5 years.
It's like no time has passed at all, is it?
No. What did you do with that gambling film we sold you? It was stunning. It was so stunning. We called it the Stunning Gambling. Leave it at. That was a pile of shit.
Hang on, hang on. No, wait there. No. Run Shaw is the Cockney, isn't he?
No, this is in general they have Cockney accents in Hong Kong.
Oh, I see.
So this was Thomas Tang.
Oh, that was Thomas Tang.
Actually, Darren, you are right. I am terribly sorry. I forgot that Thomas Tang, of course, was Welsh.
No. No, Clive. No, he wasn't. No. He was a Scouser.
No, he wasn't, because I can't do a Scouse accent.
No, he was definitely
I can't do any accents, as I think this is. All right. So he said, you go, what did you do with a study gambling? And Thomas Dan goes, all right, calm down now. Calm down. We put some ninjas in your film. Calm down. And that's what happened.
And you do know I did that deliberately, didn't you?
I do. Over at Film Mac, which of course the offices of Film Mac were at on the Merseyside. In 1987.
In Brookside Studios.
Yes. The Stunning Gambling transformed into Ninja the Violent Sorcerer.
Yeah.
AKA Vampire Strike. Directed by Bruce Lambert. We don't know who that is.
Well, we do.
Well, no, we don't. I don't think we know who Bruce Lambert is.
Well, I've got him down as Godfrey Ho pseudonym.
No. Because Godfrey Ho never worked at Film Mac.
No. Okay. Yeah, good point.
Godfrey Owens over at IFT Film Mark. I don't think he ever directed anything for. So this is someone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've got some duff info there then, because someone has said.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of duff info about. Yeah, but no, pretty much
they're muddy waters as far.
Yeah, but pretty much anything at Film Mark.
I don't think Muddy Waters had anything to do with this.
He did the soundtrack, obviously.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
well done.
If it's Film Mark, it's not Godfrey Ho. It's usually a good go by. But anyway, so now in this version, it's well, there's hopping vampires
and ninjas. Yeah. It wasn't enough to just get ninjas. We have to also get vampires.
But they're proper ninjas, right? And how you can tell if they're proper ninjas, as opposed to fake ninjas like you see in like a Japanese film or even a Hong Kong film, right? How you tell they're proper ninjas is as if they're called Norman and Barry and Bruce, and if they're Caucasian, that's how you tell they're proper ninjas.
Exactly, not that
Caucasian people.
Crap. Yes.
Yeah.
And so these hopping vampires are involved with the Southern King of Gambling, right? Who's actually been resurrected.
Yeah.
By none other than Chiang Tao.
Yes. Who's in a whole bunch of Film Mark things.
He's just in everything, isn't he?
I'm wondering if even he might be Bruce Lambert. I'm not sure. But yes, I'm just trying to remember exactly what happened in this film now.
Well, the same things roughly that happen in The Stunning Gambling, except they're all ascribed to the interference of like vampire sorcerers.
And so there's some ninjas drive a VW van.
Yes. But a VW van appears in both films, actually. So that's another piece of connective tissue. That and the actor who plays the son, as we talked about. Leslie,
Yes,
in both films.
Yes.
Doesn't look a day older. Nope, not at all. It's like.
Yeah, so basically, when you'll get a scene from the of you know, at like the beginning, right? You'll get a scene from The Stunning Gambling of them facing off, you know, and then we'll suddenly smash cut away to like a black room with this guy doing hocus pocus in like very, very poor grease paint kind of vampire makeup, and then back to the film, and that's how they're doing that magic.
He also has a friend. He has a Taoist priest friend whose name is Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he first turns up in his Taoist robe, he goes, "What's with the dress, you weirdo?"
Hang on, I'm getting confused now.
I'm fucking confused. I don't remember.
Right. So hang on. So I in my mind, because it's been a couple of weeks, probably 2 weeks since I watched this. In my mind, Chiang Tao is the main Taoist baddie, but Lu Feng is in this as well with a nice little touch.
Amazingly, yes, it's also in it.
So what's Lu Feng? So someone remind me the relationship between Lu Feng and Chiang Tao in this film. So anyway, Lu Feng and Chiang Tao are in this, right? And they're both Taoist priests, and Lu Feng's got a moustache.
Is there something to do with? Doesn't he feed some vampire blood to some other vampires or something at some point? Now my notes.
Oh, to make an army of
Yeah.
Also, don't forget that the ghost of a dead wife appears in this. That definitely didn't appear in the original film.
Yeah, Kufa. That's actually one of the better integrated bits of the film. To be fair,
this is dead wife Rosie, right? In this version.
Yeah.
Although she shows up at the beginning and then we never come back to her. She does not make an appearance at the end of the film, sadly.
Yeah.
But she's the one who sends them off on the quest to deal with Simon Barker, whatever the hell his name is, the new gambling king that needs to.
What I quite like about Film Mark as opposed to IFD, I mean, I love the whole craziness of the whole thing, right? To be honest, I mean, I'm a sucker for these things. But what's interesting to me is, number one, it's one thing when you take a martial arts film and you add ninjas in it, but when they take like a gambling film or a drama and then they just cut in, like, it doesn't happen in this one, but some of them are just, they're like, there's a scene from a drama and then there's like some couple of ninjas hiding behind a hedge. But what I like about it,
it's like it's like going back to the previous podcast we recorded tonight, which is the I've already forgotten the fucking name of it. What's it called? Lovers Rock.
yes,
Right. So it's like putting the ninjas in Lovers Rock.
Yes.
yeah.
Right.
Well, that's the thing. The formula works for anything.
Exactly.
So, yeah, basically, in Lovers Rock, the ninjas are maybe have them as property developers who want to buy up the fishing village or something.
Or the ninjas have been sinking boats in the river.
Ah.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
It is,
Yeah.
you can do it. It's fantastic. But what I was going to say is, so number one, I like when the source material is as far away from ninja territory as possible. That's always fun. But the one I like about, so IFD were a bit more, you know, they would splice in a ninja here, a ninja there, but it was more or less the original film. What I like about Film Mark is, and when we get to Robo Vampire, those ones, they went, I mean, those films are almost, I mean, they're at least half new Film Mark footage. It's fascinating. But even these ones like this, they put more footage in than IFD ever did. And what's quite common is the original film will end about 10 minutes before the running time, and you'll get a good solid 10 minutes Film Mark ninja. But, you know, kind of quite well done. I mean, choreography and stuff and everything is actually well. You can't just make it overnight, right?
No.
Someone's gone to trouble. I mean, it's goofy because they're dressed in fucking multicolored fucking, but it's still there's a certain amount of effort into it, right?
And jump into the end.
Yes,
right? Jump into the end.
What I was
right, spoilers. Right, spoilers. Right, arguably, this film makes more sense.
Agreed.
Yes.
As Ninja Violent Sorcerer.
It's a double twist, isn't it? They've taken the twist from the first one, and then they've got, and you think it's the end of the film, and it's ninja nonsense, but then they add the very last twist, and you're like, that's good. That's quite clever.
I wonder who the real
quite clever
ninjas are.
in a very stupid way, but so it's always interesting. I mean, maybe not if you have, if you have like a life, but it's always interesting for me to watch the source film and the ninja remix when possible.
Yeah.
Forgot to mention fucking Mark Long as well. Turns out in this.
Yeah.
Kind of unrecognizable as usual.
Yeah.
And Swenkok Ming is in it as well. So it's interesting to me that they did manage. I mean, you get Lu Feng, you get Kong Do. I mean, they did manage to get names in their films, right?
Yeah.
But
strangely playing against type. I mean, not Chang Tao, because Chang Tao is just generic bad guy.
Yeah.
But Lu Feng's an interesting casting choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or rather, I find it interesting that Lu Feng did it.
Yeah. What's interesting as well is that this one doesn't necessarily. So the other thing, like, obviously the IFD and the Film Mark films as well, they front and centered, the white people who you've never heard of who became stars of this genre alone, right? You know, Houghtons and people like that, right? But there's not much here, right? In terms of none of the big ninja stars are the white guys in this one.
Are there any white guys in this? Are they not actually? Are they not actually the two?
I can't remember now. Were there actually any? Yeah, there was.
No. There were ninjas, but they were just the two. They were just the two. Yeah, they were played by Taiwanese actors. There's no white people. There's no white people in this film at all. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. So that's unusual.
No, there are white ninjas in this.
There's ninjas in this, but they're not white people. They are just the two. There are two characters in the film who just sometimes get into ninja costumes.
I think he might. I think what we've done, Darren, is
I've watched it twice.
We've wasted many of our years watching these films. We've put the white people in, right?
No.
Yeah, I think we have. I think Nick.
I watched it twice.
I agree with you, Darren. I remember seeing white people, but I think I'm wrong. I think Nick might be right, and he did watch it twice. I think retroactively put white people
put them in because it makes sense for them to be there.
Yeah.
True.
Which
but no, definitely they're not.
Us racist.
Also, one of the pieces of footage shot for this has boobs in it, which is definitely not in the original film.
I noticed that. Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, they cut to some sleazy kind of business guy in bed with a girl, and we see her boobs, and then our two ninja guys show up into that scene.
Yes,
definitely.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm with you. I have every faith in you, but yeah, both
times it happens in the film actually.
Gambling.
Yeah, there we go.
It. Yes.
There is a moment in both films that kind of like there's a moment where they suddenly cut to what appears to be like a war scene, and you're like, hang on, like what's happening?
Yeah.
And then we realize, oh, we're on set for a movie. That looks quite exciting too, actually. Whatever that film.
Yeah, there will have been a film out of that. Yeah,
I would imagine.
That was in Stunning Gambling as well.
Yes, it was. Yeah. So I remember both.
But that's the thing, because it doesn't. Again, I was a little bit confused. The way I thought that was going to be going was in FX Murder by Illusion heroic way,
which there is a little bit. With
but I thought they'd be more like they'd rig up explosions or like fake squibs, but that didn't happen, right? I thought they'd be more made of that.
Yeah. Well, except at the end, because at the end,
the car.
So no, but not even the car. So spoilers at the end. Our baddie, the baddie gamblers lose, and he has to shoot himself in the head, which he does like that.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yes.
Then he turns up in the car at the end, and he's not dead, and neither is his sister or his wife or whoever the poo woman is.
Mm-hmm.
And then the car just blows up, and that's it.
Yeah.
In the Stunning Gambling, but in Ninja Violent Sorcerer, it's the ninjas that did it.
That's right. Yeah. Which makes a hell of
more sense. It does actually make more sense.
Yeah.
I also like how dialogue is used to suture things together. Like there's a lot of that in this where two people will be talking and so right after they've apparently dealt with, one, it's like, well, Myra's avenged. So that just leaves the vampires to deal with.
Right.
Right. Because this is the same film, right? So these are definitely happening in the same place and time.
My plan is coming together nicely because Nick seems to be warming up to when I decide we're going to do every
entire IFT.
Nick, tread with caution.
I think I will. Yes.
Oh, don't worry. That won't be until at least next year or the year after. Well, the trouble with that is to be honest, I would absolutely love to do that, but I'm not sure.
It's endless.
I'd want to do all of them, and I'd want to do all the source films as well, and they're not always extant, or we don't know what they are.
Right. Yeah.
But one day, if we ever sort out what every IFDN film was based on, and it's all there, we're doing that. Even if we're in our 90s and, battling with dementia or something, we're going to do... Actually, that would be fun. That would make sense. I would imagine the world of IFDA Film Mark would make a lot more sense.
Well, to be fair, I think the filmmakers were battling with dementia at the time.
Yeah.
So there we go. Something to put away for our retirement, lads. The IFD Film Mark project.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm going straight to Dignitas in Switzerland.
Just to get out of doing it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Quick! Clive, trying to get me to watch all the IFT film.
Just grounds.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Now then, Mr. Vampire 3. So, Ricky Lau again. Choreographed by Lam Ching Ying, Tung Wai, and the Sammo Hung stunt team. So no surprises there. Funny enough, it's about vampires. Although it's not about vampires, actually.
No.
Because it's more about ghosts.
Yeah. So here's the thing. We knew this was going to happen. It's happened already a couple of times. We accidentally watched a couple of films we didn't need to that didn't have happening vampires on. Plus, we missed some, but we'll catch up with them next year. But I didn't expect that one of the films we watched that didn't have hopping vampires in would be one of the Mr. Vampire series. There's none. Not one.
So the young one and the older one, they're actually just ghosts pretending to be.
They're ghosts, yeah.
Yeah, and they don't hop.
No. If you're not hopping, you're not a vampire. Well, you know, arguably you can have long hair and go like that, but that's.
Don't you remember Nick in all those Hammer films? Christopher Lee always hopping across the.
Yes, I do.
That's how you knew he was Dracula.
Right. Right. Okay. And I'm thinking they talk way too much. All of these characters for them to be. It's just, but they do appear to be, for all intents and purposes, with the hats and the.
Yeah. However, the lack of vampirism is compensated by the presence of Richard Ng.
Yes.
Yeah. So Richard Ng is in this.
Because no one does looking gormless like Richard Ng. Richard Ng just looks like he could just be doing as simple as making a cup of tea, right? And he'd be.
He just looked confused.
Staring at the pot.
What? And he put the, he'd have the bag on his head or something, wouldn't he? The teapot to be on the floor.
In fact, I reckon it's not even
burn himself on the kettle.
It's not even his real name. I reckon he only remembers the first bit. So people asking, "What's your name?" and he goes, "Richard." Doesn't know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I do see what you mean about Billy Lau becoming increasingly as these films go. He's particularly annoying and a piece of shit in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know he's supposed to be, but fucking hell.
Yeah.
Don't be so good at it, please.
Yeah. So we've got it's the gang all back together, kind of. With the addition of Richard Ng. So, as you say, Billy Lau's in it, Lam Ching Ying's in it. Our mate, Pauline Wong, is in it, in a fucking stellar performance, if I may add, in this one.
Almost unrecognisable as well. I didn't realise it was her.
I had to look her up. When I was watching it, I was thinking, that's not Pauline Wong. Where's Pauline Wong? Because I'm used to her being a floaty ghost, not this fucking crazy barbarian warrior fucking fox.
But she does look different as well, doesn't she? Because she's yeah. She's darker as well, isn't she, in this?
Yeah, well, she's made up different, and she's got frizzy, strangely styled fox hair. So
nice little cameo from Sammo as well.
Yeah, Sammo, Wu Ma's
singing
in
Happy
it.
Birthday in English.
That's it. Yeah. Wu Ma's in it, obviously, because Wu Ma's in everything in 1986. And Yung Kwai's in there as well. Yeah. So anyway, there's some. So it's ghost business, really, isn't it? So it's ghost business and fox business.
Yeah. So Richard basically, he has these two ghost assistants, and he uses them to more or less extort money out of gullible people. Right? He goes.
It's pretty much the Frighteners, isn't it? With Richard Ng as Michael J. Fox.
I think you are
absolutely right.
More gormless looking.
Yeah.
No, that's I thought that effect actually right in the beginning where he opens the umbrella and sucks them in was like really well done. I was like, that's very convincing for this time. And
we should say up front that whatever else we might think about this film, and because we were talking before, we were talking about how from Mr. Vampire to Mr. Vampire 2, they're clearly going for really slick, well done kind of ambling entertainment kind of everything
Yeah.
at a high level. Mr. Vampire 3, whatever else you think of it, it is a really good looking, well shot film. It's got this really big kind of orchestral, it's a bit of a Temple of Doom kind of soundtrack. And Andrew Lau is doing the cinematography, so it looks just right. I mean, it's you can tell that this was at that top end of like Hong Kong cinema really upping its game, isn't it? Just in terms of overall, like, we can do this as good as anyone else, right?
Yeah. Well, it's in that, like we said before, it's in that like sweet spot between about 82 and 87, 86, 87, where everything looks like Industrial Light and Magic. There's special effects all over the fucking place, and all the films have fantasy elements, Also, and this is no different.
No, absolutely. Slight aside, but Louis Fong, right, the guy who plays Ng's assistant, really reminds me of Frank Whaley. Do you remember Frank Whaley? He's the guy Samuel L. Jackson does and I shall bring my fury upon you and shoots him in the chest.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes,
Louis
he does.
Fong is very Frank Whaley looking.
He's in Swimming with Sharks as well, right? He's the lead. It's only one of the few things he's like a lead in.
Yeah, and he's in Cold Dog Soup, and he's in loads of things. I quite like Frank Whaley, actually, but I was just, Louis Fong gave me very Chinese Frank Whaley vibes.
Yeah. So other than the cameos, there's no one much in it, but so it's kind of ghost shenanigans, but with additional. I think.
Sorry, Aaron, we did forget to mention, probably just because we take it as read, but Lam Ching Ying is in it as well as Richard.
Yeah. Lam Ching Ying is playing Taoist priest. Yeah. Thank you. So I can't even remember who falls afoul of the Fox Spirit Pauline Wong gang. I think it might be Richard Ng or possibly, I don't know who it is. Anyway,
it doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, in terms of it's
but there's this set piece, right? There's this set piece in the forest where you first meet this like murderous gang, and at first you think they're just like bandits, right? But it turns out that maybe they're a bit supernatural, because they just like fly around either in the trees or ride horses and just twist people's heads off. And
we should mention this. It's much more violent and adult than the first two, isn't it?
Absolutely, no,
it's almost as if they pivoted away from doing like a family-friendly film, and they've decided, let's do this a bit more kind of. It's not super gory, but it's just more violent in general.
But there's people like putting fists through stomachs and stuff.
People's throats cut like in close up, right at the camera. I was surprised and pleased, because I did think that the second film got a little bit too ET and a bit too cutesy.
I'm wondering if it was a critical reaction and they decided to do that kind of to go that way with it instead.
Yeah, it was a good choice, because like as well as that, so there's this point where they're in the forest and they're having this fight, and the bandits kind of lose the fight to Lam. It must be Lam Ching.
Yeah, he shows up. He does an amazing leap directly over the top of a guy, and then he does the thing where he cuts himself, and he says like use blood to lure blood or something like that. It's like some weird, awesome line.
Yeah. And then you get this really cool, almost kind of Evil Dead-esque kind of moment where Pauline Wong's injured, and then she just goes and finds some maggots.
She just produces them from inside her own mouth.
That's it.
She just kind of like spits them out.
Yeah, and then like heals herself with the maggots. Yeah, great.
Let us not forget the whatever the fuck it is, muck monster thing, which is like cross between Oily Maniac and the monsters from that film Spookies, if you remember.
Yes, I remember.
Something like that, right? That's a cool. I'm still not quite sure what it is exactly, but I like it. And it's weird because it seems to emerge from this like boiling, like a big.
I think it's one of her assistants. It's one of her two assistants, and then he actually gets thrown in there. Like, so the idea is they boil this massive thing of what looks like tempura oil to kill this. This guy,
and then it's like a sticky rice monster, or something it looks like. But it emerges from it. Yes. But then to get rid of it, they chuck it back in, and it.
Well, it wasn't done yet, clearly.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, and I like this. Confusing. He communicates almost entirely by going.
Well, again, that's like Spookies, because if you remember, Spookies, the mud monsters farted, didn't they? So, you do wonder
when is Spookies? Isn't Spookies about 86, 87?
It is, yeah. It's a bit difficult to untangle the production history because it started off as
it's Italian and
but I think it would have. So you do wonder if the Boho crew had checked out Spookies and thought, we want that in our film. You never know. Richard Young was just in the corner going.
Well, that's what he always does anyway. Yeah. So anyway, so they like
good idea.
Just takes his clothes off. Pretends he's invisible again.
Gotta love Richard Young.
I love Richard Young. Yeah. Anyway, so they end up killing Pauline Wong, right? But somehow her guards turn into and her guards, like her henchmen, but then her henchmen turn into ghosts who are quite scary.
It is very confusing. And then there's that whole thing about imagining other people as giant chickens, which is quite funny, but I still don't really understand it.
I don't understand that.
That chicken costume was not, it definitely looked like high school mascot for a basketball game or something like that.
Yeah.
There's also a great part where she bites the head off a lizard, and then gushes its blood down her throat.
Clearly, for a change, it's a fake lizard. It's not Taiwanese production, so we didn't have to make Darren ill. There wasn't an old man geek eating frogs or anything. Sorry, I reminded you now of the frog eating geek, Darren. I do apologize.
Nick, if you want to see that film,
yes.
Yeah, watch it.
Go see it.
Yeah.
And then
come back.
I want to see your reaction after.
What is the film?
Do one of those YouTube reaction videos to you watching.
Oh yeah, we could do that, couldn't we?
Sukabare or Toxicant or whatever.
Toxicant, yeah. It's on the Khafuz, you can check it out.
Okay, we'll do.
Anyway.
Yeah, so now the thing is, there's a lot going on in this film, which is fun. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of well done, and like we said, it all like the whole stuff with falling down into the well. I was thinking, like this would not. If you spliced this shot, honestly, if you spliced the shot, well shot, corpse falling into like a Spielberg film of the era, you would notice the difference, right? Yeah. It really is extremely well done. The only thing is, just as a viewing experience, it's a little bit, to quote my late old man, one of his favorite phrases, it's a bit disjointed. It's like, it's very disparate. This happens, that's cool, that happens. But it definitely I'd say it's a step up from Mr. Vampire 2, but it lacks the cohesive dynamism of the original. That's what I think. So it's like better than 2, but it's just a bit too all over the place to really
scattershot.
Yeah, to deliver the proper kind of entertaining punch that the first one was. Would you agree with that broadly?
Yeah, I mean, it might be in some strange way slightly less than the sum of its parts, because its individual parts are tons of fun.
I think that's what I was trying to say. Yeah, hang on. Yeah, I'm going to steal that. I'm going to cut you out saying that.
Sure.
We go again. See, in my opinion, it's less than the sum of its parts. I think, in my original opinion, that no one else would think of saying.
Yeah. Well, I think as well is that you're in, albeit a loose series, right? Because it's already a very loose series of films by number 2, which is almost completely unrelated to the first one, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of kind of it's like there are too many characters in this as well. So you've got the whole bandit gang, you've got Richard Ng, you've got the ghosts, you've got Lam Ching Ying, you've got Lam Ching Ying's assistant, you've got Billy Lau, you've got it's all fucking, there's a fucking load of people there, and they're kind of dividing your attention as far as narrative goes. So it's like, we all love Richard Ng. And he's got he's the only one in there. He's got a bit of an arc, because he kind of comes good in the end, doesn't he? After being a bit dodgy. Lam Ching Ying has got a lot less to do in this than the predecessors. And yeah, I think again they're trying to do too much almost, and it's created too many elements. But something I won't ever regret from watching this film is seeing Pauline Wong as that fucking crazy fucking villain.
Feral woman, yeah.
Fucking brilliant. Really fucking good.
She is good. To be honest, I could, if someone made me sit down and watch this film again, it would not be a great chore to watch it. It's not unentertaining at all.
Yeah,
but,
I'm fine with
just
it.
If we are here, with trying to be vaguely critical about these things, and look, there's no doubt about it that it is all over the place. So it's difficult to really. I mean, I enjoyed watching it, and I'll enjoy watching it again. It's just, it's not. Yeah, it's a bit of a. In a way, it's a. I wish it was just tighter, because it could have been. It could have. Oh, I tell you what, it could have been. It could have been like the edgier version of the original, in a way, with like if they'd have had hopping vampires in as well, and people having their heads twisted, and it could have been like the R-rated fun version of the first. But
there's no reason Pauline Wong could have been a mama vampire going like that and twisting people's heads off. And simplify it. But yeah, I think
something we haven't come across it yet, and looking forward across the films for this series and next year's series, I wonder if we are going to come across like a really well done, full-blooded, not family, not kid-friendly Mr. Hopping Vampire.
Good point. Yeah, interesting point. Yeah, it's just, I think it's unfortunate the way it went, doesn't it? So it went from general entertainment, Mr. Vampire, so whole, kind of blockbuster Mr. Vampire, straight to kids film, and this kind of is trying to redress it a little bit, but it's it's still got to please its investors, isn't it? So
I wonder if that's what the impetus was behind it. I'm quite interesting, because obviously the longevity of the series does, and for as much as we maybe might rally against it, it is basically when it became kid friendly and cute. That's when the box office went mental, especially with the Japanese yen getting involved as well, right? So I wonder if that'd be interesting, if that is what they were actually thinking when making this film, was let's take it back a little bit, and let's if anyone
not entirely successful, but it'd be an interesting question.
If anyone knows, let us know. Don't ask Richard Ng, he won't know. Wait,
no, he's got a fucking tea bag on his head and no clothes on.
Well, I was just looking up. He's also dead.
Well, he died last year, I think.
He died April 9th last year. Yeah, it's
That's
brilliant. If you look at it, oh, God bless him. If you look at his pictures, he looks kind of gormless in all of them, really, doesn't he? But no, he was good. No.
Can you imagine his wedding photo? Or his passport photo? Just has to turn up with a picture of fucking Richard Ng at the fucking gate in Heathrow. It's like
he's if you believe in such things, he's up there now, looking down at us, looking gormless and confused.
Yeah, just doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know where he is, really. Could be in heaven. Could be down the pub. He doesn't know.